Hello guys, welcome back to the shop. I hope you guys had a good weekend of riding. I sure did. Today I'm going to run you through how I wash my bike after a weekend of riding or a day of riding or whatever, and then there'll be a follow-up video on how I get the bike prepped for the next ride out, like things like changing the oil, cleaning the air filter, and just general checks of the bike that I do from week to week to make sure it's ready to go the next week. But today I'm going to be running you through washing the bike. Now the first thing I do is I take my fuel jug and I remove the fuel line up here and just connect the fuel jug, or just slide the fuel jug on it, and I drain the fuel out of the tank. I do that for a couple reasons, but this tank, as you know, it has the frame runs underneath the tank, so the tank's kind of inside of it's shaped like this, so some of the gas will hide on the right side of the tank. So after you're done draining as far as you can, you want to shut the gas off, move the tank, lay the bike over to the left to get the gas on the right side of the tank onto the left, and then drain it again to get all the gas out of there. But the reason I do that is because these tanks have a tendency to get darker with age, when the gas sits in them, and they get brittle after a while. I mean, if they gotten better with the whole brittle thing, it's not like it was back in like '99 where they would literally like crack on you. But they get dark. You'll notice mine's not any darker down here, and this bike has 120 hours on it now. You'll notice it's not really any darker down here than it is right here, and that's because I drain my tank after every full weekend's riding. So that's why I do that. Also, it gives you opportunity to keep your fuel fresher. The fuel tank is vented, as you know, and plastic's vented. Yes, I'm putting it in there, but I do have a jerry can that I keep my fuel in. There you go. Metal jerry can, or any kind of metal can that you keep your fuel in, because the metal can is just going to keep your fuel fresher. Again, plastic is porous and it does breathe, and your gas will just become weaker through time. I can keep gas in a plastic container like that for 2 weeks, open the lid, and it still smells like gas, but it's starting to get a little bit softer smelling. Or I can leave it in the jerry can for 2 weeks, and when I crack it open, it smells like the day I poured it in there. So I like to keep my gas fresh because I am running a mixture of 50-50 race fuel and pump gas, and I like to keep my octane up there, so that's why I do that. So after the gas is drained on this, I'll show you how I mix up my cleaning solution. Some people like to use Simple Green to wash their bikes and pressure washers. I don't like using Simple Green because it does have a tendency to oxidize the aluminum sometimes. I found for me, right here, Arm & Hammer liquid laundry detergent. Try to get the stuff without fabric softeners or anything like that in it. And but I'll show you how to do this. Either that or Tide. Tide works real well. Liquid laundry detergent Tide. You do not want to use all. There are certain laundry detergents that act like Simple Green, and it can oxidize the aluminum, kind of takes out some of the nice shininess out of the aluminum. So I know a lot of people have success with Simple Green. I get it, but the problem is if you dilute it real good, you're okay for the most part. But if you run it a little too strong, I promise you, it does oxidize aluminum. So keep that in mind. But Tide works real good. Let's see if we got some up here. Well, there you go, but that one's got the fabric softener, so I wouldn't use that. Just regular Tide or Arm & Hammer. I found these two work good. Stay away from all the other brands. Honestly, just stick with Arm & Hammer or Tide. Arm & Hammer works good. Tide works even better. So you can use a hand spray bottle, like your Windex spray bottles, and you can spray it down by hand, but geez, that's a lot of squeezing. Or you can just pick up one of these little things from Harbor Freight or whatever that you use to put Roundup to spray the poison all around your yard because you want to kill everything around. You can use one of these. That's what I use. This is a smaller one. It holds 1.25 gallons. For that, I fill up one water bottle with the laundry detergent. So you can use one water bottle, fill it up with laundry detergent, or you can just use two of these full, these little things that come with the laundry detergent. This one comes like that, or if you use one of these lids there. But I found two or maybe even three if the stuff is really stuck on there. But yeah, just one water bottle is what I do. I always have these around. So you take that bottle full of laundry detergent and you pour it in here, fill the rest up with water, shake it up, and pump it up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to spray the whole bike while the bike's dry. You don't want to rinse the bike first. You want to keep all that dirt on there. You see the dirt on the front, the rear wheel there and stuff. Don't rinse the bike off because for some reason that doesn't work as good. I haven't figured out why. I don't know why, but I find I get best results when I just spray it down while it's dry, My theory is if you wet it first, the water gets through the dirt. Like let's say the water sinks into the dirt here, and now you have water touch between the surface of the aluminum or the metal, depending on what part it is, and the dirt. But when you spray it with the laundry detergent mixture with water first, that sinks in, and it gets to the contact point where the dirt's contacting the bike actually, and kind of separates it, kind of lifts it up. You know, just like it lifts all the stains and stuff out of your clothes. That's what we're looking to do here. So let me start spraying her down. So you just spray the whole bike, and you get the bike nice and wet. The places where the dirt's not built up, you just have to rinse it down. The beauty of this is, for the most part, you don't really have to touch it with the rag when you're done. When we go to rinse it, most of this stuff is just going to fly off with the water hose. And again, I avoid using pressure washers. I work on bikes for a living, and when people bring me a bike and all their bearings are out, first thing I ask them is, do y'all wash this thing with a pressure washer? Yeah, that's what we wash it with. Well, you're going to have bearings keep going out because the pressure washers it pushes the water right past the seals and into the bearings, and then they go out. You know, they rust out and stuff. So I avoid the pressure washers. But the idea here, gotta pump her up some more. Yeah. So the idea, by the way, that can usually clean about 2 bikes, depending on how dirty the bike is. So the idea here is to spray the whole bike down. You can see this; it almost comes clean just with this. I mean, just with the pressure of this, it pretty much pushes all the dirt off of it. Some of the things that I found that don't work really good is dish detergent. That just doesn't work good at all. I know there are some people that wash it, but you have to hit every part of the bike with the rag when you use dish detergent to get the dirt off of it, or at least the dirt stains. And the idea here is, I don't really want to hit this bike, not every part of it, with a rag. You know, I'll show you towards the end the few parts I do, only because I'm going for a really good clean. But you'll see I just spray every part of the bike. And you just kind of spray the dirt off of it with this too. You know, the best that you can. And then when we're done spraying the whole bike down, we're going to let the bike sit for about 10 minutes with this stuff on there. Just kind of let it dry up on there. Then when we go to rinse it, you'll see pretty much all the dirt will just fall right off the bike. Of course, you get the wheels and the brakes and everything. Get all that sprayed up real good. And you just keep working at it. Spray all the dirt underneath the rear fender till it breaks loose. Now, the only time, like I said, you don't want to wet the bike or rinse the bike before you do this. You actually do want it to be dry, so I believe that the soap can sink in. But the only time I find that I do have to rinse the bike ahead of time is like if it just really was just flat out muddy. I'm talking about like a flat out mud race or mud ride, and it's just so thick that you would be sitting here all day long spraying this stuff. But what I do on the wheels here, you just spray it until it breaks loose. That's all you do. And I'm going to finish this wheel real quick. Also, the beauty of this too is because we will get most of the dirt off without actually touching it with the rag. You avoid scratching your bike. You know, when you're having to use a rag to clean the dirt off of it, dirt can be abrasive and it starts scratching up your bike. So we're going to avoid that by doing it this way. And don't forget to even clean the tires. You want even that dirt off of there. You want the bike to really look good when you're done. I do, at least. Okay, we got her all sprayed down with the laundry detergent. I have let her sit for about 10 minutes to where it's kind of, fairly dried up. But, you just give it time to soak in. That's the whole idea. So now I'm going to get the water hose and put it on like a, I don't know what kind of spray you call it, you'll see, and rinse her down. I guess you call it a cone spray or whatever, but that's it. Because you don't want to hit it with too much pressure and shoot water into the past the fields and everything, but you definitely want a little bit of pressure to clean everything. I'll show you. Watch this. See how that clay right there? See that clay right there? Watch this. Gone. All that in here. Gone. The back wheel here. Look at this. The tire. Remember how dirty it was underneath here? I mean, it wasn't overly dirty, but it was a little dirty. See the dirt that was on that tire right here? Like, see? Look at this. So you get the idea, you just rinse it off. I'm going to finish rinsing it off and then I'll be right back. Alright, that's pretty much it as far as like some people would stop right here. It's good enough. I like my brother, this is where he stops. And then you can just, you know, spray the motor with WD-40, lube the chain, whatever you do, trying to keep it from rusting or whatever. I personally do use WD-40 on the motor and the chain area. And I actually use it on the wheels too, but we'll get to that at the end of the video. But back to what I was saying, some people just stop right here. Hey dude. Yeah, some people just stop right here and it's good enough, you know, and that's what my brother does. But I go a little bit further than this, and this is just, you don't have to, but what I do is I mix up a little bit of that laundry detergent mixture that I had. I put it in a little bowl or whatever, stick a rag in it, and I give the plastic just a little rub down. The reason I do that, even though you don't have to because it's clean, I'm just looking to get rid of the little scuffs. These little things right here, and I just use that, and it just kind of cleans it up a little bit more. Little scuffs that you might have did while you're riding the bike, you know. And so that's what I'm going to do right now. So I just take my same mixture that I sprayed the whole bike with, and I just stick it in a bowl right here with a rag and let some of that go into the bowl. Then I'll use that rag and I'll just run it, give a once over on all the plastic. But the plastic's clean, right? So you can literally just spray some WD-40 on the motor and lube the chain, and she's good. Although, like I said, I'm going to take a once over, real quick wipe. And because there's no dirt on her, she's clean, I won't be scratching her up or anything. So she's still going to look nice and pretty. All I'm doing now is kind of just buffing out some of the scuffs. But I'm using the same solution that I used to wash the bike. I found that works best. And then I'll do the same thing on the wheels. I'll just spin the wheels real quick and run the rag on it. Even though the wheels are clean, they're technically clean. But again, I'm just looking to kind of wipe up any kind of scuffs or anything like that. And then I also take the same rag and I run down each spoke. And it sounds a little OCD at this point, but it kind of tries to preserve a little bit of shine on the spokes. So I run down the spoke, and then on each side of the motor, I kind of like give this, because you know you get scuffs on this too. I don't really have any right now, but you get little scuffs. So I take the rag and kind of try to buff out some of the scuffs. Like I got a little one right here, you know. And then on the other side of the motor, I do the same thing. You know, I'll kind of wipe right here where you get some scuffs on it and stuff, and right here you can see a little bit of the clays, kind of like the colors, kind of. And that's pretty much it. And then I'll spray her with WD-40 and she'll be good. There it is. Got my rag full of soap. So you see that little scuff right there. You just kind of try to buff it off a little bit. Sometimes you get them off, sometimes you can't. That one didn't go too much anywhere. Let's see about this one right here. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But that's it. I just give everything a quick wipe. Again, you don't have to. It's technically clean enough. But this is just something that I do because it does kind of help kind of buff out some of the scuff sometimes. Although it doesn't seem, I don't seem to be removing any of the scuffs today. Let's see if I can get rid of that one. Yeah. Okay, well, it ain't really happening today, but it's all good. Still not a bad deal. She's gonna look good when it's all said and done. And that's it. I just give everything a quick little wipe. Again, you don't have to do this. You can just stop right after the rinse down. Then I'm gonna do the wheels, the spokes, and the motor, and we'll be done. I'll start right here at the side of the motor, try to get rid of these scuffs right there. That one went away. That one did too. So it does work. Kinda. I just give everything a little wipe down. Makes me feel better. And I do the swing arm too right here because these stickers like to get scuffs on them too. Alright, there's that. Then I'll work my way up to the front wheel. Just spin the wheel, hold the rag here. Then I'll take the rag and I'll run down each spoke. You don't have to do a perfect job, just kind of getting rid of anything that might have really stuck on there. I have noticed that this kind of helps prolong the shine of the spokes if you're really worried about that kind of stuff. It doesn't take long. You don't have to do it, but it doesn't take long. Then I'll do this side of the motor, just rub that, give it a little rub down. Do the swing arm too. Might as well do that, who cares? Alright, done with this side. Oh, forgot right here. I always seem to get that all scuffed up. There we go. And lastly, I'll do the same thing to the rear wheel that I did to the front wheel just a minute ago. And that's really all you have to do. Then I'll give it one more rinse down and spray the stuff that I want to spray, like the motor and the chain, with WD-40. And that'll be it. She'll be clean. And then in the next video, I'll cover what I do to get her ready for the next weeks of riding. Alright, and just another quick rinse to take off the soap that I just put on it while I was giving it that little wipe down. Doesn't take much. All I'm doing now is just rinsing off soap. Okay, she's all rinsed down. Now, while she's still wet, I'm going to spray her down with WD-40. I'm also going to WD-40 the chain. Now, this again is personal preference. Everyone has their own way of doing it, but this is how I do it. Maybe this can help some of the people that don't have their own way yet, but I don't use chain lube. Chain lube seems to, here in Florida, we ride a lot of sand. And the sand just sticks to the chain with the chain. Even if you let the chain lube dry, you spray it the day before, it doesn't matter. You'll find your chain dirt sticking to it. And dirt can't be good on the chain. I don't know. I just spray it with WD-40 so it doesn't rust. And it kind of gives it a little bit of a lube so it doesn't squeak or whatever. But that's all I spray it with. It's just WD-40. The other one, the WD-40 route, everything's always clean. Look up in there. See, it's clean. I get a full life out of my chains. And this sprocket's about done. You can see it's getting pretty thin. And the chain's getting older too, but she's still good. It's a EK roller chain, O-ring chain. But that's how I do it. So let me go ahead and get my... Oh, another thing. If you're like me and you use a lot of WD-40, I like to buy it in the gallons. I find you can buy it at AutoZone in the gallons, and there's other places you can order online if you can't find it anywhere locally. Sometimes you can find it at Harbor Freight in the gallons, and you just put it in a spray bottle. I use the old wet tire shine. You can just, but yeah, it's better than using a spray can that you pay $9 for and you burn through the can in no time flat. I also find this WD-40 in these cans, I don't know, it just seems a little bit better than in the spray bottle when they have the aerosol, but that's, maybe I'm just crazy, I don't know. But let's go ahead and lube her up. Alright, the things I lube up with WD-40, the motor area. I like to get the air boot here. Kind of helps it give it a nice little shine so it doesn't look so hazy. I get up in here, I get the back side of the mud flap, the spring area, foot pegs. Yeah, that might make the foot pegs a little, definitely get the pipe. It might make the foot pegs a little bit slippery, but that'll go away pretty quick. Definitely get the pipe, especially if you have a bare finish pipe like this one. I mean, you can see she's not, you know, she's not all that great looking anymore. She's got some usage on her. Alright, keep WD-40 here. The pipe's real important. Like I said, when you have one of these bare finish pipes, you don't want it rusting, so you want to get the whole thing. And then I go ahead and lube the chain, or should I say WD-40 the chain. Whether I'm lubing or just WD-40, I like to hit it down at an angle right here so I don't get the stuff all over the bike. So I just... And that's pretty much it. Now, while I was doing this, my brother called me and I told him I was making this video. One of the things he mentioned is for the guys that do use the chain lube and you get all that grease crap start building up right here. He said, make sure you let them know that the only way to really clean that off is like gasoline or brake cleaner and a freaking toothbrush or a scrub brush. But yeah, you can see how clean that is because it's worn out, but it's clean. So the sun's kind of blocking your view there, but because I do not use chain lube. Now, I like to WD-40 the wheels too. I like to get the rims. It gives it a nice shine. And also I like the WD-40 always kind of be hitting the spoke nipples here. It just kind of helps keep them from being seized up. And it all really started because I also use WD-40 on the tire to give the tire a nice shine. And it kind of keeps the rubber soft. But and I just noticed it makes the rims look good. So, but you don't want to get any WD-40 on your brake rotor. Trust me, you don't want to do that. So you want to avoid that at all costs. And then I'll get the tire, right like this. So you notice I sprayed everything, well you can see from the camera, I sprayed the tire at a down angle back here in the back, so any overspray went right to the ground. I'm trying to avoid getting anything on the brake rotors. And you pretty much do the same thing to the front. Using the same downward angle because I don't want to get anything on the brake rotor. And then I'll spray the front. You'll see right here I got the sprayer. I'll just spray the tire here like this at a downward angle so I don't get anything on the brake rotor. And that's it. That's how I wash my bike from week in to week out. Everyone has a different way to do it. If you have a good way that's working for you, or if it's better than mine, well, good for you. And honestly, if you have any really good, like, genius things that you do, let me know about them. I'm always looking to change things up. But this is working for me. It's been working for me for about 20 years now. It does a good job. The bike comes out looking really good and clean. I know the sun's hitting it in a funny way right now, so it's hard to get good pictures out of it or videos out of it. But for you guys maybe just getting into this and don't really know how to wash a bike, this is not a bad way to do it. It's good way to do it. I'm a mechanic. I work on them for a living, so I kind of know how to preserve your bike. That's my whole goal, is to preserve it the best you can. And I do know the pressure washers and Simple Green are two things that kind of age your bike. Simple Green kind of oxidizes the aluminum. Pressure washers make your bearings go out and stuff and pushes water in places you don't want it to go to. So this is how I do it. Later in the week when I go to get her ready, I'll make another video, so stay tuned about little things like changing the oil, checking all the bearings, adjusting the chain, cleaning, oiling the air filter and stuff like that. What I do to get her ready for the next weekend and check everything out, make sure she's ready to go, ripping around the track. I really appreciate you guys watching this, man. Good times. I'll catch you later.